So now we'll do the last part of Daf Mem Hey. So we've been dealing again with the machlekes between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon, if we hold it muktzah or not. Amar Rabba bar Bar Chana Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabba bar Bar Chana said b'shem Rabbi Yochanan. Watch this word. Amru, the Bnei Yeshiva said that halacha is Rabbi Shimon. That halacha is like Rabbi Shimon, that we don't hold it muktzah. The Gemara asks, Mi Amar Rabbi Yochanan hachi. Did Rabbi Yochanan say that? There was an old man, Kruya of Amrila Suruya. Either he came from a place called Kruya or a place called Suruya. He wanted to know Kina shel Tarnagailas Ma'u l'taltuli b'Shabbos. Can you handle a chicken coop or net or cage on Shabbos? Amar Lei, so Rabbi Yochanan said, Klum asi el Tarnagailim. It's meant for chickens. If it's meant for chickens, so the Balchai, a living chicken, is muktzah. So you see that Rabbi Yochanan held like Rabbi Yehuda. The Gemara says, well, maybe this be'afreich meis. Maybe there was a chick in it that was alive before Shabbos and it died on Shabbos. Maybe that's why it's muktzah, because it died on Shabbos. But hanicha, that would only be good le marbar amemar mishmei derava. Marbar amemar in the name of Rava damar moidoi Rab Shimon v'balechaim shemeisu shasurin. He said, if Shimon is moide, if an animal was alive and then it died on Shabbos, that it's muktzah. So then it would make sense that even according to Reb Shimon, this cage that has a dead chicken in it that died on Shabbos is muktzah. But Elo lemar breder of Yosef mishmei derava, the Amar cholikoy Reb Shimon afilu b'balachaim shemesu. But according to Mar breder of Yosef in the name of Rava that says that even if a creature dies on Shabbos, it's also not muktzah. Then af shehei mutarin, that they're not muktzah Michael Meimar. So why would Rabbi Yochanan have told the old man that it's muktzah if he holds like Rabbi Shimon? More tries again. Maybe it has an egg in it, a newly laid egg. A newly laid egg is noilid. So maybe Rabbi Shimon would be made it's muktzah because it's noilid, a newly laid egg. But Rav Nachman said, once said, man islay muktzah islay noilid, man leslay muktzah leslay noilid. According to Rabbi Yehuda, who holds a muktzah, he holds noilid as muktzah. But according to Rabbi Shimon, even noilid is also not muktzah. So again, if Rabbi Yochanan holds like Rabbi Shimon, then why would he tell this old man that this cage of the chicken is muktzah? A live chicken, according to Rabbi Shimon, is not muktzah, and even a dead chicken is also not muktzah. And the egg is also not muktzah. The says, the isbei beitzas efroyach. Maybe it has a egg which a chicken has been sitting on in order to hatch it. And that type of an egg is not fit neither for human consumption at this point, nor for animal consumption. So therefore, that Reb Shimon would be made that it's muktzah. So far, could be Rabbi Yochanan holds like Reb Shimon. However, Kiyaser Rabbi Yitzchak bar Rabbi Yosef Amar Rabbi Yochanan Halacha Rabbi Yehuda. When Rabbi Yitzchak bar Rabbi Yosef came from Eretz Yisrael, he quoted Rabbi Yochanan that halacha is like Rabbi Yehuda. So just a minute. So now we have a quote that Rabbi Yochanan holds of muktzah like Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Shua Levi Amar Halacha Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shua Levi holds like Rabbi Shimon. Amar Rav Yosef. Rabbi Yosef says, you see, now that Rabbi Yitzchak bar Rabbi Yosef testified that Rabbi Yochanan holds like Rabbi Yehuda, who holds of muktzah, now I understand. Hainu da Amar Rabba bar Chana Rabbi Yochanan. Remember, I pointed out a word before. The Rabba bar Chana said in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, Amru. The Bnei Yeshiva say Halacha Rabbi Shimon. Amru, they say so. But Rabbi Yochanan himself holds like Rabbi Yehuda. That's why Rabba bar Chana said the name of Rabbi Yochanan, Amru. In the yeshiva, they said the halacha is like Rabbi Shimon, but he himself holds like Rabbi Yehuda. The Gemara asks, Amalei Abayla Rabbi Yosef, Sabai says to Rabbi Yosef, it sounds like you just discovered America. Because Rabbi Yitzchak bar Rabbi Yosef said that Rabbi Yochanan holds like Rabbi Yehuda, so now you know that Rabbi Yochanan holds like Rabbi Yehuda. Didn't you know that? Did you not know that Rabbi Yochanan holds of muktzah? Rab Abba v'Rav Asi iklu lebei Rab Abba d'min Chaifa. Rab Abba and Rav Asi visited Rab Abba d'min Chaifa. The nafal menarta al glime de Rav Asi. And a candelabra fell on a jacket or a coat of Rav Asi's, and he wouldn't take it off his coat. Maitam, why wouldn't he take it off? Lav, would you not say? Mishum de Rav Asi is Talmid de Rabbi Yochanan. Because Rabbi Asi is the Talmud of Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Yehuda Svirlei. Rabbi Yochanan holds like Rabbi Yehuda. This lay muktzah holds of muktzah. So evidently, everybody knows that Rabbi Yochanan holds of muktzah because Rabbi Asi, the Talmud of Rabbi Yochanan, wouldn't be metaltal, wouldn't take off a candelabra that fell on his coat. Rabbi Yosef says that's not a proof, because you can hold like Reb Shimon. Menarta Kamra, you're talking about a candelabra, Menarta Shani. A candelabra is different. The Amar of Acha Bar Chanina, Amar of Asi. Reb Acha Bar Chanina said the name of Reb Asi, Hayr Rish Lakish bit Sidon. Rish Lakish wants Paskin in Sidon. Menaira, what about a candelabra? Hanitelas biyareachas, if it's light enough to hold in one hand, mutter l'taltala. It's not muktzah. B'shtei yada, but if it's a heavy candelabra that it takes two hands to handle, also l'taltala. Because even according to Reb Shimon, something that is that heavy, you would not have intended to move it on Shabbos. And even Reb Shimon is moed that's muktzah. Reb Yochanan says, Anu ein lanu el v'ner Reb Shimon. We know Reb Shimon allows you to handle a lamp of clay that was used, because Reb Shimon does not hold a muktzah machmas miyas, avol menaira, but a candelabra. Bein nitelas biyadei achas, bein nitelas b'shtei yadav, whether it's a candelabra that can be handled with one hand or two hands, also l'taltala. Reb Shimon agrees that you're not allowed to be metaltal. Why? Because v'tamamai, and the reason is Rabbi Rav Yosef Damri Tarvayu Helva Adam Kavei Lemokum. A candelabra is something which you put in a place and you let it stand there. So Rish Lakish holds that a candelabra that's very heavy is meant to stay there. Reb Shimon would agree it's muktzah. Reb Yochanan holds that even a candelabra that's held with one hand, but a candelabra is meant to stand and to stand where you stood it and not to move it. So therefore it could be Reb Yochanan holds like Reb Shimon. Therefore I was happy to hear Reb Yitzchak Reb Yosef came in and said that Reb Yochanan actually holds like Reb Yehuda. If he holds like Reb Yehuda, so this old man who asked Reb Yochanan what's the din about the cage or the nest of the chicken, and he told him that it's muktzah, there's no problem anymore. It's not because there's a dead chicken in it, or because there's an egg in it, or there's an egg that's in the process of being hatched. It's simply because Reb Yochanan passes like Reb Yehuda, who holds a muktzah. But now we find that we have discovered a number of exceptions to Reb Shimon. I just want to point out a simple idea. We learned that Reb Shimon is also moed to many cases of muktzah. Reb Shimon only holds that muktzah machmas miyos he doesn't agree with. He doesn't hold muktzah ben hashmoshes is katzoi l'kuli yom. If you have a lamp that was lit l'kovet Shabbos, but afterwards it goes out, afterwards you're allowed to handle it, because it was only muktzah for the duration that it was lighting. But here we start with our exceptions. But what happens if you had a large bowl or a large utensil that you thought was going to burn all of Shabbos, and then it went out? Reb Shimon is moed that's muktzah. Groigers and smukim that were set aside, that you pushed it aside, that it was inedible beginning of Shabbos, and you didn't believe that it's going to become edible during Shabbos. So even if it becomes edible during Shabbos, is still muktzah. Huktzah limitzvasai, a burning candlestick, is also huktzah limitzvasai. He agrees with that also. Noi sukkah, throughout of sukkahs, even chalamoid, he holds that it's muktzah. A muktzah from a piece of schach or a piece of sukkah that falls off is huktzah l'mitzvah. He agrees that's also muktzah. A candelabra, for sure, a candelabra that takes two hands to pick up, but maybe even a candelabra that takes one hand to pick up holds with that muktzah also. Stuff that's totally inedible, right? Is also, he would agree, is muktzah. A flame, the elder is muktzah. So Reb Shimon also agrees with muktzah. I want to speak out something else. So remember there was an issue where Rav was asked if you can bring in a Chanukah menorah that was outside on Friday night because the chaborim were dangerous. So the answer was you're allowed to, because Kedai Reb Shimon, you can lie Reb Shimon b'shas chak, but we're not going to hold of muktzah. There, Taisus asked the kasha. The Gemara in Shabbos in the second period talked about the b'shas sakana. You should light on the table in your house. So why were they lighting outside? So Taisus answers that there was two kinds of issues. There was one issue where these chaborim didn't want anybody should light any ner anywhere except in their temples. So it made no difference whether you lit outside or you lit on your table, they were going to come looking for it. So therefore, whether you lit outside or on your table, you were going to move it afterwards and hide it. You were going to light, because it wasn't a life danger. They would only fine you or maybe chas v'shalom hit you, but it wasn't a life danger, so therefore you're going to light. But it made no difference anymore whether you lit on your table or outside, because they were going to come looking for it anyway. So afterwards you'd have to hide it. So once you'd have to hide it anyway, you might as well light outside. And that's what Taisvus answers. There's another issue that the Gemara Shabbos says that if it's a time of sakana, a time of shmad, where they don't want you lighting all together, so don't light outside, light on the table. But b'shas hashmad, aren't you supposed to be moiser nefesh? So why are you lighting on the table? So the Rivash says that if there's a din derabanan, like lighting in Eretz Chanukah, and the Rabbanan wanted you to light outside, the Rabbanan had the right to tell you that in case it's a shas hashmad, in case there's a danger, you can light on the table. It means you didn't make your own exception because it was shas hashmad. If it's shas hashmad, you shouldn't have made any exceptions. But the Rabbanan originally gave you an alternate way of how to light in Eretz Chanukah if there's a danger. And they said you can light on the table. So therefore you light on the table and you yaitza your din derabanan. So actually I spoke out three things. There's no life danger here at all. We have a Gemara here in Kira and we have a Gemara in Ben Mamadlikin. In Kira we're talking because they don't want any fires anywhere. So wherever you're going to light, you're going to have to hide the candelabra afterwards. So therefore you might as well light outside and afterwards you'll rely on Reb Shimon. Because even if you lit inside on your table, they would also come looking for it and you'd have to hide it. That's Taisvus. And the reason why in the second perik you were lighting on the table rather than being moiser nefesh b'shas hashmad is because the Rabbanan gave you that alternative to light on the table. Have a good evening. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should help. We should hear B'suras Taivas, and this thing should end.